Dr. Wendy was given a job to take care of an elderly who was being attacked by a stroke and got paralyzed, called Mr. Frank. Mr. Frank was in a wheelchair and was being taken care of all certain caregivers because he could not do anything, but this caregiver was not even making his life to be comfortable, whereby she could ignore him and do her own thing until this fateful day that Wendy found out that she doesn't do anything else, and she sacked her alone. We have Caleb, who happens to stay with his brother, and he is looking for a job and ready to do any other job so long as it earns a living. All this in the movie called Born to You. Born to You is a movie showing at SELASSIE IBRAHIM Pro TV, and kindly go and watch this movie and tell me what do you think about this movie. The movie was so wow. In most cases, we find ourselves in a situation whereby we are caught up with hunger and as well as love as well. Again, we are fond of people whom we have to take care of, and we happen to bond too much to see that they get well soon. So when Caleb was looking for a job, here happens that he got a job from Wendy, whose friend recommended to Wendy that Caleb can do the best since she was looking for something to do, and he had his elderly grandpa whom he used to take care of too. So Caleb's brother told him that you can take care of him, and pretend that you are taking care of as you are taking care of our late grandpa. Caleb decided to take the job, but when he reached in this house, he found himself getting bonded with Mr. Frank. Their relationship became so strong that Caleb could not even imagine and decided to call her Papa. The first day he called himself Papa, he was surprised and even very teary. Not because he doesn't have children, but because he has done so much that hurt his children. So, as I told you that a young daughter, Wendy, was the doctor, and she could not even find any heartful forgiveness. Yes, she was caught in the middle of love and hatred, but she could not express that love. Hatred could overpower her. So Caleb got bonded too much with this Mr. Frank, and he decided to ask him about his children. Mr. Caleb just turned into tears. Mr. Frank turned into tears and cried and said, "My dear, it's a long story of which I did not marry, but I have children, but I'm like I don't have children." Caleb tried so much to see that he gets to know the children of Mr. Frank, until this fateful day that Wendy came and found the house when it was about to burn, and when she heard that Caleb called her father Papa, she was very rude. Caleb asked himself why and what happened. This is when he decided to look for his children. Along the way, he found out that Wendy was his child. Can you imagine? Wendy, who happens to be the doctor of Mr. Frank, was his child. Caleb chose so much to fight for the relationship between a daughter and a father, but Wendy was not ready to compromise because of the hunger, because of what his father, Mr. Frank, did to him, because of what his father was doing during the time she needed him. That's why I say she was caught between love and hunger. But her mother was ready to her mother was ready to recover. Mother told her to not to find heart to forgive her father, but Wendy was not ready until this fateful day that Wendy found Caleb phoned Mr. Joshua down and decided to talk to Caleb. But he told him that you should find a way of changing your life. You don't need anything in life to forgive someone. Do you think that Caleb was right? That forgiveness, you don't need any person to tell you, or you think that Caleb went too far? This thing hurt Caleb. For an old man to stay like he doesn't have children, yet even one of the children is the one who's taking care of him. So sometimes we pass through a lot, and we find ourselves in love ourselves in between love and hatred. We find ourselves that we cannot fight the situation around us, but we just have to fix it. We just have to do it by force. This is where Wendy found herself that she could not even find a way. She was hurt. She could not open up to anyone, and she could not say anything until she opened up to her friend, and her friend told her, you rather go and stay with this man. Yes, she might have done a lot in the past, but doesn't mean that you need to ignore him. You have to bond with him. After bonding, then you will see the reason why he needs your forgiveness. When they did not find anything worthy to forgive this man. Sometimes life has to be challenging. Sometimes we find ourselves in a situation. It's not because it's God's plan, no. But God is teaching you on how to reconcile with someone. This is the time whereby Frank and his child had to reconcile. Maybe that's why God brought the sickness so that they can paralyze, and she made her daughter to become the doctor so that the daughter could bond so much, because the more you be with someone you feel you hate it, the more you find the goodness in him. When he decided to come and stay with her father in the house with Caleb, and every day she felt a smile on her face when she sees her father that she is doing well. Yes, forgiveness is divine, but forgetting is not easy. But the people who did wrong doesn't mean that they should die in agony and pain. People are passing through a lot of things in their life. But as I said, it doesn't make anything right if you don't forgive someone. The forgiveness you give that person might also lead to his healing. And the love you give to these people, most of the people with disabilities, they might have survived death, or they might have survived being on wheelchair and come to life again. But because of the people around them, because of the things which they are passing through, if a caregiver does not have love to that person, I'm sure nothing would happen. As Mr. Frank, when she was still being taken care of, the first caregiver, he was always falling sick each and every day in deep thoughts. Remember, her daughter is a doctor who takes care of him, but the daughter cannot forgive him, as well as the caregiver is not also doing right. The fatherly love. Every child needs a fatherly love. So men out there, learn from this movie. Every child needs a fatherly love. Even if you don't marry their mothers, even if you don't stay together with your mothers, but the love you give them, the love you provide for them, is the only thing which can keep the bond between you and the children. Sometimes men, you blame women that they blackmailed your children, yet you forget that it's you who made your life to be like that. If you had played your game right, maybe things wouldn't have been the way they are. The bond between the father and the child, when Wendy forgave his father, things started changing, and the bond between Caleb and Mr. Frank was also like a father and son bond. The love Caleb gave to Mr. Frank gave him a reason to participate together or to work together to his healing. And at the end of the day, Mr. Caleb was doing right. Though Wendy at first he was very mad over it, but she realized that maybe it was the best to do, to come together, to forgive her father, and to also work together with Caleb to see that the father stands or come to life again. But the third thing that Caleb had to go. Just imagine the bond you had with the boy who became like a son to you, and all of a sudden he's saying he's leaving. Guys, it's hurting, but all in all, Caleb did his job of bringing together, reconciling a child and a father together, so that even when he leaves, they might be in peace. It's a movie called Born to You, showing at Selassie IBRAHIM TV. Go and watch the movie. God bless you.